Daniel's Thief's Cape. With his chains broken, Daniel felt a surge of determination as he moved toward the heavy door of the dungeon. Every step he took was guided by the need to escape, driven by the memory of Arya's strength and resilience. He tested the door, and though it was locked, he knew that his vampire abilities would give him an edge. Drawing on the lessons of stealth and strength taught to him by his family, Daniel focused on the hinges. They were the weakest points. Using his enhanced strength, he worked the metal until the door gave way with a groan. The noise was loud in the stillness, but he had no choice. Pushing the door open, he slipped out into the corridor, his senses on high alert. The castle was a labyrinth of stone hallways and hidden passages, but Daniel knew it well. He moved with the silent grace of a predator, avoiding the patrolling guards and the household staff. He kept to the shadows, his heightened senses picking up the faintest sounds of movement. The dim lighting of the castle worked in his favor, allowing him to blend into the darkness. Flashbacks of his family's teachings flitted through his mind as he navigated the treacherous terrain. His father's stern voice echoed in his ears, recalling lessons on discipline and loyalty to their kind. He remembered his rebellion against their strict rules, his refusal to conform to their expectations. His love for Arya had been the ultimate act of defiance, a stand against the cold, unyielding traditions of his lineage. He reached the main hall, a vast space filled with echoes of his family's history. The portraits of his ancestors lined the walls, their eyes seeming to follow him as he crept past. He felt a pang of bitterness as he glanced at the faces that had condemned him. His rebellion had led him to Arya, and though it had cost him dearly, he did not regret it. She had shown him a different way, a life filled with love and warmth. Daniel paused at the foot of a grand staircase, his ears picking up the sound of approaching footsteps. He pressed himself into the shadows, holding his breath. As two guards passed by, their conversation a low murmur. He waited until they were out of sight before continuing his ascent, each step taken with the utmost care. The castle's higher levels were less patrolled, but still fraught with danger. Daniel's progress was slow, every sense attuned to the slightest hint of danger. He moved through familiar rooms and corridors, each one holding memories of his past life, now tainted by betrayal and loss. Finally, he reached a small, seldom-used servant's exit. He forced the old door open, the creak of the hinges masked by the wind howling outside. The cool night air hit him like a refreshing wave, and he paused for a moment, inhaling deeply. He had made it this far, but the hardest part was yet to come. Daniel stepped out into the night, the castle's imposing structure looming behind him. He moved quickly, sticking to the cover of trees and shrubs as he made his way through the grounds. The moonlight cast eerie shadows, but he welcomed its light after the suffocating darkness of the dungeon. As he reached the outer wall of the estate, he encountered his final obstacle, the high stone barrier that had kept intruders out and him in. Drawing on the last reserves of his strength, he scaled the wall, his fingers finding holds in the rough stone. His muscles burned with the effort, but he pushed on, driven by the memory of Arya's voice urging him to live, to honor their love. He reached the top of the wall and paused, looking back at the castle one last time. It stood silent and dark, a place that had once been his home, but was now a prison of painful memories. He felt a surge of resolve as he gazed at it, vowing to make things right in honor of Arya. He would find a way to atone for his failures, to ensure that her sacrifice had not been in vain. With one final breath, Daniel dropped down the other side of the wall, landing lightly on his feet. He looked up at the night sky, the stars twinkling like distant beacons of hope. Turning away from the castle, he disappeared into the darkness, his heart set on a new path. He would live, he would fight, and he would honor Arya's memory in every step he took.